Keep it going for Kieran, everybody, hosting the show. He said, my name's Ramon Rivas. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. Okay, one person respects poverty. I'm from Cleveland, but comedy helps me travel all over the world. I performed at the Mall of America for the first time like 2 years ago. I never been there. I learned that Minnesota's clocking in at 95% flat butts, which is an alarming statistic. I was like, this isn't my America. My America's much thicker with it than this. All weekend I'm walking around and nothing. Finally, I thought I saw one big booty, but it was somehow just a long back. Very disconcerting. I got to perform in Nashville for the first time last year, which I was excited at first, and then a couple weeks before I went, they passed a law banning any performances by gender non-conforming artists. And I didn't know how to feel because I got titties and I pee sitting down. Neither of which conform to my gender. So, like, what's gonna happen to me? Like, how illegal is this? Because it gets weird once you start policing people's personhood, but that's like baked into America's recipe. And people get kind of mad when I would say that, and it's like, they're like, no, America's the most inclusive place in the world. Our founding document starts with we, the people, together. I'm like, yeah, that's not inclusive. If I say we all had a good time at the comedy club, that means we all had a good time. If I'm like, we, the people, had a good time, you're like, who wasn't a person? Did someone bring in a therapy dog? Like, what do you mean? But language and personhood has changed since that sentence was written, you know? Like, if you do not own property, clap. Clap if you do not own property. That's most of the room. None of y'all are people. And because the people and we the people are property owners. So if you don't own property, you ain't no people. If you're a woman that does own property, clap your hands. A woman that does own property. I hear you, queen. Y'all ain't people either. Because the people and we the people are men that own property. So like, how you gonna possess something, girl? That's mine. And not me, that's the sentence. If you're a non-white man that owns property, clap your hands. The banks do a good job keeping that number down there. But black and brown men wasn't people either. We was either property or savages. If you're a white man that owns property, clap your hands. Y'all the only people in this room. And you didn't do anything wrong. Y'all have just been people the whole time. Like, I feel like that's the difference. Because like every other group of people had to go to court like, hey, I'm pretty sure I'm a person. And the court was like, oh man, go talk to that other court about that. You see now with trans people, like a lot of people get the whole people like how conservative people like, how could you go from a he, him to a she, her, or a they, them? Like, how you a they, them in a person? Explain that to me. And I'm like, how are you confused? Y'all have been transitioning to LLCs for such a long time. It's like y'all think Hobby Lobby's a person. You're so close. Just apply it to people. And I'll admit, trans people make it uncomfortable too, because like I run a show in Cleveland and there's this comic on stage and they were kind of bombing, and halfway through their set, they're like, oh, y'all don't like trans people? And just kind of start shitting on the crowd. And I'm like, I don't think anybody has a problem with you being trans. We all just thought you was an ugly woman who was really bad at comedy. Which is the most allied position. I felt bad because I was on the road for my dad's birthday. I texted him, I was like, hey, happy birthday, so I'm not there to celebrate. I could bring you a gift back or I could cook us a meal. when I get home. He's like, ooh, meal sounds great. I was like, cool, I'll get home tomorrow. I'll go to the store, get shrimp, steak, lobster, make mac and cheese, rice and beans, the whole nine. We about to eat good. He was like, ooh, we gotta wait till Saturday for all that. I just started a diet. I only get one cheat day a week. And it's like, you know you cheated on my mom a whole bunch, right? I'm just saying I don't have much faith in this diet. I'd actually be really offended if he stuck to the diet. Like, damn, you got more respect for counting calories than you did for my mom. And don't get me wrong, I love my dad. I just wish he was my uncle instead of my dad. I think we'd be smooth. Because now it'll just pop up in like weird mode. Like I was listening to this J. Cole album and he has a lyric where he's like, all I want to do is kill the man that made my mama cry. And I'm like, yeah, oh, that's my dad. Got to go to therapy mid-song? That's not fun. My dad grew up different. My dad's one of 17 children, which, Jesus, is a biblical amount of people to come out. 17. No twins, no triplets, just one at a time. It's a preposterous amount of people to come out of one person. That's full court 5-on-5 basketball with subs and coaches. You keep everybody fresh, that's wild. And all the recent news has made me look at my family history through a different lens because they overturned Roe versus Wade, which is crazy because people hate pulling out. So it's like, y'all probably could have just left that one alone. And it was a big conservative movement to get it overturned since the moment it was passed, which makes me concerned that conservative pussy might be very dry. Which would explain why they're all so mad, don't want anyone else to be happy. Willing to be proven wrong, but they overturned it, so they took away a woman's choices, a woman's options, a woman's agency. So it's made me look at my grandmother in case of forced birth, no choices, because she had all 17 of those kids before Roe versus Wade was a thing you could do, you know? And my grandma grew up poor in Puerto Rico, which, like, you're an American citizen, you're just not allowed to vote because your collective opinions might fuck shit up. America's like, we can't give that many brown people autonomy at once if they're still alive. Let these hurricanes do a little bit of work. Puerto Rico's not a state, it's an occupied U.S. territory. It basically boils down to Puerto Rico's America's side bitch. And I don't know if you've ever had a little relationship on the side, but it usually hits a point where it's like, hey, either love me or let me go. And that's Puerto Rico to America, and America's like, calm down, girl, take these paper towels, wipe yourself down, you'll be all right. So not a lot of economic options growing up on the island for my grandma. Puerto Ricans are also very Catholic, culturally, and like Catholics don't even believe in contraception. They just be like, the old pray and spray. So not a lot of religious options, you know. And then my grandma fell in love with a shitty dude. My grandpa was a shitty dude. He didn't marry my grandma till the last kid 30 years in. There's people in this room who are like, we've been fucking a few weeks, like, what are we? My grandma just didn't know. I did a little digging, I found out my grandma was 13 when she had the first kid, but she's like, Grandma, you little hoe? Because the propensity is always put it on a woman, but then I did a little more digging, I found out my grandpa was like 19, 20, and I'm like, oh, that's creepy as fuck. That's some like child bride, child rape shit, which is cool in most conservative states. You can ask Matt Gaetz. Then looking at the impact of just denying one woman choices, she had 17 kids, they all had kids, grandkids, great-grandkids, great-great-great-grandkids, grandkids, probably a bunch of bastards. We're around like 400, 450 people. That's a little economy. That's a lot of taxpayers. Bunch of veterans, couple prisoners, which is America's favorite. They're like free labor. That's a big impact for just denying one woman choices. And I wonder if you gave my grandma a choice, what she would have done. If you went up to her like, hey, you want to start having kids right now for the next 30 years? She probably would have been like, I think I might just want to go to 6th grade. Get this last year of recess under my belt. Here, next year we got to memorize a locker combination. That sounds mad complicated. And I say that knowing full and well if my grandma had options and choices, I might not be here. I'd be sitting up in heaven smoking weed all day, getting my dick lit. Biggie didn't think it was possible, but it was. If you enjoy me, I have a bunch of albums on streaming platforms. I have 5 comedy albums. I have 2 music albums. A couple of years ago, I bought a drum machine off of Facebook Marketplace. And it was like suspiciously cheap, so I was like, this is a scam. But then like the dude showed up, and I was like, all right. And I was like, why are you selling this? He was like, I knocked up my girl's pregnant, so you know. And I was like, damn. Here's a couple weeks of diaper money. Give me your dreams. So I've been making music. I have an album called Sounds to Smoke To, which is just a bunch of instrumental, like lo-fi music. And then last year on my vision board, yes, I vision board, I put do 5 beats a day for 1 summer. It's a Kanye lyric. He does 3 summers, but I'm worried anti-Semitism kicks in summer 2 or 3. So I still want. So my second album is called DIA. It's all shit I made when I was in Denver. I started it at the airport. I ended it at the airport. So it was cool. But if you listen to all my comedy, all my music back to back, it's like 150 tracks. And I'll make 22 cents. So mute, shuffle, repeat. But I also, because I'm my own record label, I bootleg my shit like I'm Master P. Just in time for no one to have CD players anymore. Does anyone have a CD player? I see right behind this second table, right there. I don't want to throw it because I'm liable if I hurt you. But I have a couple more. I'm down to like my last like 20. I let people pay whatever they want for CDs. Whatever you give me is more than what streaming gives me. Like some people give me money, which is ideal. Other people give me weed, which is cool, because that makes me feel like I'm a dragon. Which is nice, because then I don't gotta fuck with any villagers for a while. And other people just give me advice, and those are the worst people. So don't do that. But I'll be up there with my drum machine, a couple of CDs playing music on the way out. I like trap. This is my first time in Madison. It's been cool. I went to B-Side Records and Strictly Discs. That shit was cool. I bought a bunch of tapes because I got a tape player too. I enjoy traveling, but sometimes it gets awkward. Like a lot of people will be like, "Where are you from?" I'm like, "Ohio," and they're like, "No." Where are your parents from? Like, oh, Ohio. Hoping they'll drop it, but they keep going. They're like, no, where are their parents from? And I'm like, oh, you're trying to see how far back you go to devalue me, huh? And they're like, no, I just want to know, like, what are you? I'm like, oh, I'm a human being, same as you. They're like, no, I'm like, I get it. I said Ohio, which is America. And we're like, well, you can't be America because I'm America. Like, what's this, though? Because there's this equivalency of whiteness to Americanness that pervades to this day. And that shit makes me mad because, like, I was born on an Air Force base, which is one of the most American places you could possibly be born. The only more American place you could be born is like a Walmart during a mass shooting. All right, guys, my name is RAMON. Enjoy the rest of the show.